We created a platform which takes and trains the models on the different market conditions, which can analyze existing algorithms and train them on the different market conditions.
The market is very imbalanced. And when Sunday, President Trump announced the global tariff, the market became very shaky. Could you discuss the key issues in your industry?
Absence of a calculational power which hedge funds have. That's the main problem, is the absence of these abilities to compete.
Someone can provide to safeguard their money. They're going to lose money, isn't it? In these ups and downs after the change of US government. How do you produce, or how do you safeguard, or how do you train your model?
You have to look at some parameters which are somewhat extraordinary, and they're describing some specifics, maybe in advance, so-called leading indicators.
That's a great explanation. Who are the clients you aim to help?
So we actually created these copy trading capabilities just for exact purpose of people who don't want to get engaged with tools. They just want to do the copy trade.
It will be very helpful for the people they wanted to invest in the future. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Innovator Circle podcast. I'm your host, Dr. 𝐀𝐻𝐨𝐿𝐴, CEO of Time Research and Innovations, 𝐀𝐛𝐨𝐮𝐭 Marketing Agency, and Chatbot AI. ICPcast is an initiative to bring innovative ideas, transformative strategies, and forward-thinking insight from various industries, where it is in technology, artificial intelligence, marketing, finance, lead generation, sales, business advisory and development, tax and accounting, or sustainability. We bring you specifically very brightest mind, C-levels executive, and industry leaders who are shaping the future. In today's episode, we will thrill to welcome Dr. Sergey Savastiouk, founder and CEO of Tickeron. Tickeron is an AI-powered investment platform helping traders and investors make a smarter, data-driven decision. And with a PhD in applied mathematics and a background in semiconductor innovation, Sergey has built multiple successful tech companies and holds several patent in high-tech system. He launched Tickeron to bring advanced AI and pattern recognition tools to retail and professional investor alike. From machine learning to market fostering, Sergey is leading the charge in making financial intelligence faster, smarter, and more accessible for everyone. So today, we will discuss how AI is changing the game for investor, Dr. Sergey Savastiouk, on AI finance and the future of trading. So to all our viewers, get ready for practical strategies, insightful discussion, and fresh ideas to help you grow, succeed. Hello, Dr. Sergey. Thank you very much for joining today's Innovator Circle podcast. How are you?
Fine. How are you, Dr. Shah? Thank you for bringing me in.
I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. And to all the viewers, today we're going to be having a detailed discussion about how he has reinvented the trading industry to smartly thinking, and you can smartly benefit from his system. So to all the viewers, normally we have a set of questions and we ask these questions to get to the different insight that the future innovators or business people, they can train themselves or they can get some directions. So first questions I wanted to ask, could you provide a brief overview of your business and share what inspired you to enter to this field?
Okay, thank you. So what inspired is the fact that I was trading myself on the stock market quite a lot, and I realized that there is a lot of underground currents taking place, and without proper mathematical background, it's very difficult to figure out the market. So that's what inspired. And if I'm going to talk briefly about our company, then the difference between us and others is in the fact that we are analyzing different market conditions and creating different mathematical models for different conditions. So for instance, like today's market, if we can talk in details about today's market, even like today, particularly April 7th, then there's a really huge volatility. So it turns out that some of the algorithms simply do not work on this level of volatility. And if you take the wrong ones, you're going to lose money. At the same time, when the market volatility goes down, then you have to take a different set of algorithms. So the question is, what kind of algorithms work properly on different market conditions? And that's what we've done. We created a platform which takes and trains the models on the different market conditions. Like for instance, like volatility today, interest rate goes up, interest rate goes down, somebody said something, and then we see that our models are kind of adjusting to the market conditions and then giving a proper trade signals on a buy and sell. That's the basic. It's a platform which can analyze existing algorithms and train them on the different market conditions.
That's a great explanation, Dr. Sergey. And you know that nowadays the market is very imbalanced. And this week, when Sunday, President Trump announced the global tariff, the market became very shaky. And still, they are talking about it, and I don't know where it will go. So we're going to talk and touch some of that later on our discussion today as well. Before I jumped to those discussion, I just wanted to ask you, could you discuss the key issues in your industry and explain how your efforts are making a difference for your clients and your collaborators?
Yeah. I think the key problem for retail investors is the absence of a calculational power which hedge funds have. They have tons of computers, they have tons of algorithms. And my analogy is like you could be in a high school basketball league and you can play well. But in the markets, in the stock markets, you do not have a college league and a national league. You immediately get to the national league. And if you don't really have everything which is required to play in the national league, you're going to lose. And that's what happens with the retail investors across the board, across the countries. And what we do is we provide this calculational power. We provide quick access to the market conditions, and then we adjust the models and then give ideas to the retail investors specifically. That's the main problem, the absence of these abilities to compete.
That's a great example and explanation, Dr. Sergey, because when people think about investing in market, and then if they do not get a prioritized services that someone can provide to safeguard their money, they're going to lose money, isn't it? In these ups and downs after the change of US government. I know that before that, the market was very steady. You know that before this Labour government, there was a very big fall in the UK, and that was hit very hard all over the world. And now we have Trump, and those things is also affecting the market. So in between these things, how do you produce, or how do you safeguard, or how do you train your model to become intelligent?
Okay. To train the models, you have to have a lot of past data. And you have to parameterize this data. What it means you cannot squeeze into the data like Trump said something. No, you have to look at some parameters which are somewhat extraordinary, and they're describing some specifics, maybe in advance, so-called like leading indicators. If you look at the market conditions and then you're going to search for some leading indicators, then they do exist. For instance, if you look at the real estate market in the United States, then you will see that we are somewhat mimicking and repeating the conditions equal to 2008. Why? Because the number of houses on the market sitting for very long, somewhat equal to what preceded to the great crash in the real estate of 2008. So then how you can determine that relatively quickly is to look whether or not the stocks for the home builders going up or down. And then within the last few months, the prices of stocks for home builders is going down. Why? Because if you have a lot of inventories in housing, there is nothing to build, then stocks go down, and then it's becoming a leading indicator of what's going to happen. And if you look at the past data, then it turns out that every time when the home builders went down, in a few months, the entire market went down. That's a kind of one of the leading indicators. Another interesting leading indicator is the ratio of the prices of gold versus prices of silver. It turns out that if that ratio going up, then people are searching for safe harbors. And if we look at this ratio, then this ratio also was a leading indicator before this crash and announcements. And there is another one which is more advanced. That is yields of 10-year treasury notes, which is going to be able to help us whether or not there's going to be a recession in the near future.
That's a great explanation, Dr. Sergey. To all the viewers, you are watching Innovator Circle podcast. I'm Dr. Savastiouk, and I have Dr. Sergey from the Tickeron. And we're going to be discussing more tentative questions today. So my next questions to you would be, who are the clients you aim to help, and what key benefits do you deliver to them?
Okay. So the main clients of our company are retail investors. And we have three groups of people who are willing to work with us. One group is do-it-yourselfers. So people who are willing to understand some tools and use these tools to their advantage. So that means it is not a very simple tools like what is the moving averages, some other simple indicators. It is kind of more advanced tools like we have pattern recognitions. So people can come to us and use pattern recognitions. They can use trend recognition type of engines, and then can make conclusions based on their own kind of view of a market. Or they can use our screener, which is also advanced screener, which gives the hints of what's going to happen. We analyze the groups, we analyze stocks, we analyze forex, ETFs, and crypto too. Okay, so that's a one group, do-it-yourselfers. It turns out that some of the people want to just follow some either smart people or get some signals from AI directly without much of a thinking. And that's a big group, and it's growing actually in Europe. One company, eToro, going to this group called copy traders. So what happens with eToro, they have people who are trading and other people are copying their trades. So that means the second group is copy traders. So for this group, we have AI agents or AI bots, which are trading just in front of you. How they've been built? They build on top of our tools. These tools like pattern recognition, trend recognitions, screeners. So we actually created these copy trading capabilities just for exact purpose of people who don't want to get engaged with tools. They just want to do the copy trading. And the third group, which we're approaching right now, is the so-called delegators. So when the people say, okay, why don't you manage our money? And then we just don't want to get involved. And then we just going to manage their money as assets under management.
Thank you very much.
In the US, it's called AUM model, which is assets under management model.
Thank you, Dr. Sergey. It will be very helpful for the people they wanted to invest in the future. So my next question to you, what makes your approach unique in helping clients achieving this success that you just demonstrated?
Uniqueness, I think, in our approaches of building these AI agents. So we believe when we analyze the markets, imagine three scenarios, I will tell you. One is just buy and hold S&P 500. And imagine one chart, right? Another chart, you will take S&P 500 and remove the best days out of this chart. And all of a sudden, you will see that by getting out of the market on the best days, you actually underperform of just buy and hold. But the interesting point is that if you remove the 10 worst days out of the S&P 500, then you're going to outperform the market. So what does it mean? It means that if we have in our agents some ability to hedge worst days, like the days of the past week or today, right? Then we can skip the worst days of the market, and then we're going to be outperform the market. So the uniqueness is the smart hedging with actually inverse ETFs. Inverse ETFs are the ETFs which are kind of moving in the opposite direction. When the market goes up, then ETF goes down. And when it is the inverse ETFs, right? And when market goes down, the ETF goes up. So some of our ETFs right now up 25, 30% versus the market is down 25%. And this hedging is a unique capabilities which we trained our AI when you're going to get to the long position, and then you're going to get to the long position as a hedge. And with the hedge, you skip the worst day on the market. And that way you can outperform the market.
That's great because, when you talk about investments and when you talk about market trends and all of the things, it's all about digits, isn't it? The best way you understand the digits, the best way you're going to be turning your return back. And I think today, after this episode, all the viewers, they are in the investment market, they're going to feel confident the way they wanted to trade. And I think Tickeron has that magic wand to tailor methodology, how you can invest thoughtfully. Thank you very much for today, your contribution. My next question, are partnerships part of your business model? And from the perspectives of your collaborator, what benefits make you an ideal collaborator?
Let me kind of step back. On the previous question, I will just give simple rule of thumbs for people who want to participate in the market. So let's split these people into two groups, at least, traders and investors. So what I'm telling people who are just investing and don't get involved heavily, then the one parameter they should look at is the VIX. It's a VIX, which is representing the volatility on the market. And if they see that the VIX went higher than about 20, then my recommendation in general is to try to reduce the long positions and stay invested when the VIX is like below 15 or somewhere below 20. So that means if they don't want to get involved, just look at least at one parameter, VIX. And if you're a trader, then you should be relying on this VIX, on volatility, and actually you can make more money, even though the projections for the next year, maybe for the next 10 years, that the returns are going to be very weak. So what we're doing is we're helping people to look at our website and gain the basic knowledge and collaborate with us, because in some of our tools, you can vote what you think on what's going to happen with the market. So that means there's a kind of crowdsourcing of ability where people can look what other people think and also make conclusion out of the crowdsourcing.
Thank you. Can you explain about the collaboration bit now? So do you collaborate with people, and what type of collaborator are you looking to get into the industry?
Yes, we actually do hire people who can create the new algorithms for different market conditions. So we like to hire really smart mathematicians who would be able to embrace our platform. I call it the FLM platform, which is the financial learning model platform, which is somewhat actually similar to what was created by OpenAI, ChatGPT. Before they became famous, they really developed a platform for creation of so-called LLMs. It's a large language models. And they created like thousands of them. And then when they introduced these LLMs to the market, then they managed to satisfy more people than they thought. With FLM platform, we have ability to train our FLMs on the different market conditions. So that means all the collaborators who want to work with us is those people who can develop more FLMs. And actually we have affiliate program which allows people to bring new clients for us. So there's kind of two types of opportunities.
That's a great explanation, Dr. Sergey, because, working in this industry, as part of my work and the company, we also develop different type of models, LLM and FLM, and over the top, I would say, on the ChatGPT or DeepSeek and all other things. So when you work with industry specialism, like you wanted to embed data mining or you wanted to embed a data-driven decision, at that point, you just add on, it has to be built physically or by hand, isn't it? Hand-coded. And then train that model to produce the satisfactory results that you're looking for. So when you talk about these things, I think our viewers have a majority of our viewers going to be in the tech industry, and they will love to know more about what you do and how they can invest wisely, or the collaboration program that you have mentioned so far. So we're just going to go for a quick break now. So thank you to all the viewers for watching ICPcast today. I'm Dr. 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐦𝐢𝐞, and I have Dr. Sergey from Tickeron. For now, we are taking a brief break before delving into some fantastic insight. Stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Great conversations start with thought-provoking ideas, and visionary leaders turn them into reality. Meet Dr. 𝐀𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐦𝐢𝐞, an entrepreneur, AI strategist, and business growth partner dedicated to helping professionals and companies push boundaries, innovate, and thrive to drive transformation.
Did you know that 92% of executives consider digital transformation and AI adaptation are essential for staying competitive in today's market? Furthermore, companies that use data-driven insights for decision-making also see a 23% boost in profitability compared to those that don't. Through ICPcast, we bring together the brightest minds in AI, business, finance, marketing, and other tentative fields to deliver strategies that drive measurable success.
Dr. Shah is the founder and C-level executive and leads multiple startups, including 𝐀𝐛𝐨𝐮𝐭 marketing agency, Neurodivergent Business Consortium, NBC, Time Research and Innovation, TRI, and Green Threads DPP. He is AI and technology expert and helps businesses harness AI for scalability and efficiency. He is a sales and business growth strategist and the creator of the Sales Funnel Accelerator, SFA program, to guide C-suite executives to maximize conversions and revenue.
You might be surprised to learn innovation isn't just about your ideas. It's about execution. In fact, only 10% of companies successfully turn their innovative ideas into scalable strategies, while the rest struggle with execution. Businesses that focus on effective implementation rather than just ideation 3 times more likely to outperform their competitors. After working with industry leaders and disruptors, I have learned one thing: success isn't just about what you know, it's about how you apply it. That's why I created Sales Funnel Accelerator and ICPcast to provide actionable insights that you can apply right way to drive business growth and innovation.
Podcasting is now one of the most powerful tools for business influence, with 80% of listeners taking action after hearing expert insights. And when it comes to driving sales, 78% of social sellers outperform peers who don't use social media for business networking.
Are you ready to be the part of the conversation that is shaping the future of business? Let's explore innovation, strategy, and leadership together. Book your cast with me today. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Innovators Circle podcast. Welcome back. I'm Dr. 𝐀𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐦𝐢𝐞, and I have Dr. Sergey from Tickeron. We have got some exciting insight coming up. So stay with us, and as we dive deeper into the world of finance, technology, innovation, and investment. Let's get started. So thank you, Dr. Sergey, for your contribution today. And I think today the viewers going to be learn some insightful elements from this session. So my next questions to you, could you share your insights on upcoming industry trend and how you are adapting to remain ahead? And you know that it is very critical for those people, they're going to be watching this episode and they're investing.
Okay, I think right now everything comes down to amount of the calculational power we have. We did not invest billions of dollars as the ChatGPT did, OpenAI, but we do have quite a lot of calculational power to look at the data in the past. Obviously, people say, yes, past performance does not guarantee the future results, but we're approaching this from a mathematical standpoint. We're looking at the data and say, okay, what are the chances that you're going to be profitable? So we're not saying, never say it is 100%. We never say guaranteed. But imagine like AI is going to tell you your chances that the stock is going to go up like 80 or 70% versus the chances it's going to go up 30%. So it is similar to like you're watching baseball or some other games where you are presented not only with players, but also with the statistics, right? So like how many times it will hit it right, or what the number of goals and this and that. So you kind of look at the statistics. So what we do is we look at the past results and analyzing, okay, what are the conditions took place and what were the results? And with this knowledge, people then can enter some trading or investing positions in a much more smarter way. And what we say, okay, we can call it like odds of success. So what are the odds of success? The market is going to go up right now. And then our machine goes and then calculates based on the existing information and then says, okay, these are the chances. And you are the one who can decide if you work as a do-it-yourselfer. But if you're as a copy trader, then we actually incorporate this knowledge of the chances, and then our machines are making trades, and you just copy these trades. And then if conditions are going to change, then we quickly change positions and we can sell quickly. So that means in our business, the machines these days acting much faster than people.
That's a great explanation, Dr. Sergey. So my next questions to you, can you discuss a major obstacle you have overcome and lessons you have applied to your professional approach?
In this company or overall?
In this company or overall?
Yeah, which we've been solving and actually already resolved is the connection of our algorithms and AI, our FLMs, to the brokerage. So it turns out that even if your algorithm is good and you can do the manual trades, then the execution of this trade in automatic mode is somewhat a challenge by itself. So for instance, the machine, the algorithm sends the order to buy. But the broker right now has this number of stocks, number of shares, and then machine says, okay, I bought 60%, the extra 40% went for the different price. And imagine now you are sending this type of signals hundreds and thousands of people. So what we encountered and saw that the managing the entry points for thousands of people is a challenge by itself. On top of the algorithm. And the execution phase took us much longer than expected for testing. So we had to test quite a lot of different scenarios on execution on entry points for hundreds and thousands of people and exit points, because you have to remember when everyone entered a position. And if you want to make it properly and fairly, then it was quite a challenge.
I totally agree with you, because when you work with data, and if you do not understand what it's going to predict the future, I would say, and you do not have the data to back you up, it's a challenge. And when you are that just you mentioned that you're not dealing with one or two, you're dealing with thousands of requests and thousands of things. So at that point, if your model is not clever enough, then mistake could happen. So thank you very much for joining today's live webinar, a podcast, and we are getting some very good insight today. So my next question to you, can you share a particularly rewarding project or client success stories that highlights your impact?
Oh, yeah, we have customer support. Actually, writing, I get the feedback during my webcasts that they trade more confident. Because if they enter the position with the knowledge of the confidence level or odds of success, then they can wait for their exit much longer because AI helps them to perform better, and they are not have that anxiety something went wrong. Okay, so the main problem of people who are trading is their emotional element. So in order to help them with that emotional element, you have to rely on somebody, and it's almost like somebody has to hold your hand, right? So our contribution is helping people to be not overstressed in the market conditions. And then we see it, as I said, through the customer support, from my conversation with people. And when we ask people, for instance, how did you learn about us? So one of our items is like a friends and family told them about Tickeron. So this item is also quite interesting, and we see how many people are referencing to our website for the help.
That's a great example, Dr. Sergey. Thank you very much. Because, when you talk about investment, when you talk about working with someone, if you do not feel that they are your family members or partners, it makes life hell, because you have to feel confident and you have to feel comfortable, both two things, to come up with a solution or come up with investing more. So thank you for adding this excellent example. So are there any misconceptions about your industry that you like to address and clarify to the audience today?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest misconceptions in this industry that you cannot time the market. And financial advisors promoting only one concept is to buy and hold, and once in a few months to reallocate. And as I said, if you do not want to get involved heavily, that's not a bad approach. But for those who want to get involved, you can outperform the market if you have enough of a calculational power to crunch the algorithms, or if you can rely on something which is going to help you to be more confident, and you can hedge with the timing and avoid the days similar to the day today or a few other days after the Trump's announcement of the tariffs, right? So if you can do that, then you can overcome the misconception of timing the market. And I think that's the biggest misconception, that you cannot. If you are not involved, you cannot. But if you're involved, you can.
Thank you for adding this explanation to the viewers. I just wanted to add you another questions related one. Like, the market is not settled now. So I regularly watch news and stock markets on all other things. How do you keep yourself calm? Because I have seen that over $1 trillion was away from the big companies like Nike, Apple, Amazon, and a lot of other people. So if people are investing to big giant corporations and the market is not settled, what should you do?
Hedging is the best approach to be confident, because if you're hedging properly, then your account is not supposed to go down like 10, 15, or 20%. So with the hedging, your account might go down, but with the proper allocation can even go up when everyone goes down. So when you look at the performance of a portfolio, and if the portfolio is properly hedged, which means we focusing not on options, we do not do options, but we do work with inverse ETFs, which are very liquid, and they allow to maneuver with algorithms very quickly. So you can quickly enter and exit a position without really a big time decay, which exists in options. So to be calm, you have to be prepared with the proper approaches to the market and the hedging capabilities. So if you somewhat balance, like a lot of hedge funds do, so if you look at the ratio of long position versus short positions, so right now the number of hedge funds in short positions greatly increased. So why they're doing that? They're hedging their long positions. And that way, your overall account is not gonna go down as everyone else. So that's the main benefit of approaching these cases as a trader. If you are an investor, then there are other ways of long-term hedging, like options, like you can buy put options, and also be on the safe side. Or like I have some friends who asked me, should I get out with my entire 401k plan? I said yes. And they left the market, let's say 2-3 weeks ago. And they're asking me again, when should they get back? I said, okay, watch for VIX. If VIX are going to go down below 20, below 15, then you might consider getting back to the market, but not as it is right now between 40 and 50. It doesn't make any sense.
That's a great explanation, Dr. Sergey. So to all the viewers, you're watching Innovator Circle podcast, and I'm Dr. 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐦𝐢𝐞𝐫𝐞, and I have Dr. Sergey Savastiouk from Tickeron. We're going to be having some more discussion today. Before I jump into my personal questions with you, I just wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to inspiring entrepreneurs looking to make a mark in this field?
Okay, went to mathematics right after the high school because mathematics is everywhere. You go to groceries, you need to know math. If you're doing physics, you have to know the math. If you in the biology these days, you have to know the math. All AI is built on the math. But not everyone is inclined to be mathematician, but there are obviously some period of times of different demands for different skills. And I think these days, those who like mathematics, like getting involved with artificial intelligence and AI, that's the best place to be at this stage, because you can apply AI then pretty much everywhere. And that's going to be applied pretty much everywhere. There would be a lot of agents who are going to be helping elderly, helping with investing, helping with the weather. There's a lot of opportunities as long as you really understand in mathematical terms what these tools are pretty much doing. Even if you're in the biology, even if you're in the studying genetics, then without mathematical tools, you cannot really embrace properly and fully all advances of contemporary science.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sergey. In each episode, we ask some personal questions to our guest at the end. And I wanted to ask you, apart from your genius brain working with mathematics, AI, and all other things, what else work do you do? Like cooking, traveling, maybe gossiping? What you like most apart from your work?
You know, back in the college times, I learned that the fittest survives, particularly in the United States. So from early years, I like all kinds of sports. I tried so many different things, and I like still do a lot of sports, like running, jumping, scuba diving, tennis, pickleball, you name it, I like it. Why? Because it gives my body and my mind total switch from the passive activity with the computer. I like to be engaged with something physically. And that's kind of my main hobby at this stage. Obviously, I like a lot of other things, but right now I'm placing priority on a lot of physical exercises, all kinds of stuff.
That's
kind of my hobby. And actually, I was champion of Moscow in wrestling. So yeah, and that's where it's coming from. So in the college years, I was a champion, and since then I never dropped the ball in sports activity.
That's great. I just wanted to ask you, what you hate most?
Oh, I hate most the stupidity, and when the people are lying and thinking I'm stupid. One of the reasons I left Russia, like right after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the amount of the lying they do. So one can say, okay, do politicians lie in, say, UK or United States? They do. And from a mathematical perspective, everything comes down to the amounts of lying. So if we look right now at the Russian Federation, then it is like 95% of lying to the public, not allowing people to have different opinions. Nobody checks the opinions. The government owns the mass media, right? That's kind of one amount of lying. And here politicians do lie too for their populistic purposes, but then I can switch the channel and then another opinion, and can read something as a different opinion. And that's then I say, okay, some people do think differently, and I don't feel stupid. So I don't like when the people lie, and I don't like when the people treat me as idiot, thinking that I'm going to buy into their stuff.
That's a great explanation. I'm just laughing out loud because, yes, we have stupid people in our community. Maybe they are academics, maybe they are politicians, maybe they are whatever they are. It doesn't matter really. But the main question is that you can verify that with different sources. That's a great example. My next question to you, if I ask you to engage with some extracurricular activities like charity and all other things, so I give you £1 million, what you do?
I did participate in the charitable activities and contributed to one of our foundation called Making a Wish Foundation in the United States, where this foundation takes the money, and I participated that from a Ferrari owners group. Then they find kids, which those kids are pretty much either have a very severe problems, health problems. Some of them pretty much on deathbed. So they're asking these kids, what wish do you have? So from the history, some kids say, oh, I want to meet Michael Jackson. So they take the money and then go to the famous people or the famous activities, and then helping kids to really feel great, even though they have a tough life. So this type of charitable contributions I like. They allow people really feel that the life is going on and they could be participants. So we've seen a lot of interesting cases when this type of contribution really changed their entire lives for the better.
That's fascinating, the work you do with the charity. Thank you very much for adding your value today to our channel. My last questions, do you want to add anything else to the viewers?
Takeaway pretty quickly. Remember that the stock market is having only national league. And if you remember that, as soon as you press the button buy or sell, you are playing in the national league. In the national league, that means that a lot of people want to take your money. And a lot of apps which in existence, they are based on rerouting your orders to those who are professional in this league. So make money like Robinhood and some other brokerages, they're rerouting retail type of orders to big companies which are taking advantages of these orders. So what I'm asking your viewers is to be smart and say, okay, I'm not going to be buying or selling or trading on a hunch. When you're on a hunch or you're emotionally involved, most likely your orders are going to be together with a crowd. But if you're smart, you could be taking advice or take a direction, knowing the confidence of that direction, and then you're going to be better off. Don't go with the crowd. So there's a lot of contrarian type of scenarios. And in order to do that, you have to be with somebody who is calculating for you and presenting the data with you. That's, I would say, important element of understanding. You can lose very quickly and very fast.
Thank you, Dr. Sergey. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's podcast. And I hope you have learned something from this podcast. If you wanted to learn more, please stay tuned to our other episodes of Innovator Circle podcast. And we're going to be bringing more guests. And we're going to be in the future, maybe we can bring Dr. Sergey back. And please support our work. So today's conversation with Dr. Sergey Sergey has spurred fresh ideas and providing valuable insight to elevate your business strategies, whether it is in sales, marketing, finance, or investment. You can invest if you have a right decision-making tools like Tickeron. So when you invest, think about what you are doing. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletters on ICPcast.com. Share this episode with your network. Leave us a review, and it helps us to reach and inspire more leaders like Dr. Sergey. Like our page on LinkedIn and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sales Funnel Accelerator. And behind the scenes success content and contact with Dr. Sergey, you can always reach him through the social channels, LinkedIn, and social media. Until next time, stay inspired, stay curious, and keep the leading way in innovation. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sergey. Bye-bye.